Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with me, Maha Mukhtim, only on PTV World this morning. And again, no Shazad, but he will be back with us very soon. I hope you guys have had a good week so far. We are on Thursday. It has been a shorter week than usual, but I hope you guys have been able to enjoy the first week of the 70 years of Independence Day. I hope you guys have been able to continue with your resolve to make this country a better place for now and the future generations, and whoever's on set needs to switch off their phones and put it on silent. Anyway, so that's the beauty of live shows. Anything can happen. But now I think we have a lot to discuss. As you know, we use this platform to promote Pakistan and its positivity. But this year, what our show have decided to do is that we're looking at the youth. And I know a lot of people, are tired of hearing like youth, but they are our present and our future, and they are the ones that are going to be shaping the society and the world that we're going to be living in. So we want to see what is happening in Pakistan, what's happening on the grassroots levels. But before I introduce to you our guests, we have to go for the top stories. So let's go take a look. Okay, the National Security Committee has reiterated that regional peace and progress is directly linked to the resolution of all outstanding issues, including the core issue of Jammu and Kashmir. Moving on. Prime Minister Shahid Khaqan Abbasi has said the government has introduced legislation for the establishment of special economic zones to attract investment in the country. And moving on to the next top story. Pakistan National Council of Arts organized the ceremony as part of the Independence Day celebrations, which was participated by a large number of children participated in from different schools. And Pakistan's Zeb Abbas and Abdul Malik qualified for the quarterfinals of the 24th Asian Junior Squash Championship in Jordan. Okay, well, there was an interesting last piece of sports news, but it's fine. So let's move on to our public service message. Right, so our public service message is directly linked to the topic of the show, which you'll find out now. So we see a lot of children roaming the streets when they should be at school and studying. So if you do see a child like that, try and reach out to them. Try and see what is their situation. I know a lot of people have different feelings about giving money to the kids on the street because there are other factors involved, and that's not necessarily alleviating the long term. It's not a long-term solution. So if you do see a child, find out what their situation is, and if you have the ability and the means, try and see what you could do for them, because we are, a lot of us, especially the ones who are watching the show, we are very privileged people. So we need to take stock of the difficulty that people are going through. So that is a public service message. Now moving on, okay, let me get all my information. So as I mentioned before we started the top stories, is that we're looking at what the youth are doing today. And some people are doing individual work, some people are gathering themselves in numbers, and they're trying to have a bigger impact on the society. So to discuss what is actually happening, I'm going to be looking, okay, now I know when it's a morning show and we've done a lot of shows on education and this and that or the other, but this is a very social aspect of it, because these youngsters, they have taken the initiative themselves. They've created an organization which is completely non-profit, and they are actually going out and reaching out all those children that do not have the means, where they have to focus more on working rather than going to school. So they're trying to help those families to brighten their futures, to give them more opportunity in life. So we are going to be discussing the Honahar Foundation. That's correct. And so there's lots of different names, and I really needed Shazad today. Let's get started because they can tell us what it's about, what they're doing, what projects they've been working on. And we've been joined by Mohammed Ahmed. He is the co-founder and the president of Honehar. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you so much for joining us. Besides Mohammed Ahmed, we've been joined by Nahal Hasher.
Yeah.
Okay, we were going through it before. She's the director of the external affairs for Honehar. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much for joining us. Besides Nahal, we've been joined by Maham Arif. She is the event manager for the foundation. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us here.
Besides Maham, we've been joined by Saad Sikandar, who is the general secretary. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Good morning, Maha. Thank you very much for having us here.
Thank you
It's a
so
pleasure
much
to
for
be
being here, guys. And so I'm going to start with you, Mohammed. Tell us, what is Honehar?
Well, basically, Honehar is an organization that is run by students and that is working for the students. So we started off Honehar as an organization that will help children to get basic education, and it was basically a concept that we want to help the children of Pakistan, but we cannot substantially do something that is going to help them in the longer run. So in case you are going through a signal and you see a poor child coming to your car window, you can give him a little bit of money or something to get him food for the next day or that particular day, but you cannot do something that is going to help him in the long term. So that's something that is going to take him out of that begging situation or something and give him a substantial something in his future.
Okay, and also this whole situation of giving money to these children who are on the side. To be honest, I've never actually seen any of these kids in the last 4 years I've lived in Pakistan ever go and spend that money to buy themselves food. So is it even useful doing that?
Yes. Secondly, the thing is, like, if we are paying that,
Yeah.
paying them, the thing is, like, we are not sure how they're going to spend it.
Yeah.
They can buy drugs, they can buy anything or something that's not very beneficial for the country. So when we are paying it ourselves to something that we know that is going to help them in their future, so this is going to interest us and we will be able to help them forward as well.
Okay, now you started this organization in 2012, Nahal. So tell us, from 2012, how many of you guys are involved in this whole organization, and how did you find everyone?
Well,
'Cause you have very official titles as well.
thank you. Well, I joined recently. I joined last year.
Okay.
So when I joined, I was referred by a friend who was already a member. She was part of the events team, and she knows that I really like outreach programs. I really like NGO, I really like helping people
Okay.
and charity. So she told me to go and try it out, and I gave an interview and I got selected. And based on that, I think all other members have been recruited like this. We've had lots of recruitment drives, and we do. And we have other members, and we try to see what their likes and dislikes are, what their aptitude is, and we try to put them in a field that suits them.
Okay, excellent. Now, in these recruitment drives, Maham, tell me, what are you guys actually looking out for in a person who's, because it's a charity, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you need to be able to be part of a charity?
You just need to be a part of the organization. You just need to sponsor.
What characteristics does one need in order, because you're having interviews to have people take part?
Basically, it's an open-end organization. You can help us any way you want.
Okay.
You can actually support us while giving a bit of money and all. Like, you can sponsor a child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. We'll talk about how you're sponsoring. First, I wanted to know about the makeup of the organization. So let me move on to Saad then. So tell me, when you had Nahal come and do an interview, what are you looking for when people are coming to you?
Thank you, Maha, for having us over here. Firstly, we all are volunteers and we are students. So what we see is if one is having a potential to work in our organization, because it's a totally volunteer work, to go out in an area where poor people live and to work over there voluntarily, it's hell of a task.
Okay,
and to manage it along with the studies, it's a big task. So if one is has a potential and he or she has dedication to work in our organization, he or she is most welcome. So
Okay.
Nehal had all these qualities, so we
Oh, so
selected her.
that's why you're sitting here. Great, excellent. So now, so then, Mohammed, tell me, how often do you have these recruitment drives?
Recruitment drives are basically on annual basis,
Okay.
and we generally have some ad hoc programs as well. Like if there is an urgent dire need of some specific person, we hire them as well. Basically, when we started, we were all students, like 2 to 3 students started it, and it was just a basic idea
We
that.
can hear you guys whispering. You got a mic on. Okay.
Okay.
Let's-
So the thing is like, when we started it, we were like 2 friends who were just discussing how to like better themselves, and we were discussing about how a child came to our car, and my friend Sami, he was about to like give him some 10 or 20 rupees, but I was of the idea that why not we help him somewhat on a longer term.
Okay.
If we are going to just pay for his next food, we are not actually changing his life. So we wanted to do something that is going to change his life forever.
Okay,
So
excellent.
when we talked about giving some basic necessities, there were things like we could have given them food, we could have provided them shelter, but food or shelter was something that's not going to sustain them
Okay.
throughout the life. So we came to the part education. So starting from 1 or 2 kids that we were sponsoring ourselves,
Okay.
like from our pocket money or something, we started doing this. And when we told people that our classmates, our family members, that we are sponsoring 2 to 3 children, the
Yeah.
response was very good. And they said, okay, if you are sponsoring 2 to 3 children yourself, what if we financially support you and you take this to a next level? Then came 10 to 20 students, and then we started hiring people, because at that time we said, now we have a good response, we have sufficient resources for that time, and now we should make our team so that we divide the tasks, so we could select the children accordingly and everything. So we started our recruitment drives on annual basis. That was basically initially through a Facebook page. We said that we need this
Okay.
kind of.
Okay, now that's great. So you guys were doing it yourselves from your own money, and then you decided to reach out. Now, when you decide to reach out, that's okay. First of all, I want to move on to the funding and the sponsorship in a moment. But first of all, when you select your children, how do you make sure? How do you do your research that actually they are very needy? This is the resources they need. This is the help that they need.
Initially, the first 2 or 3 children that we conducted were like near my vicinity.
Okay.
There was a case of a small girl. She used to live near my vicinity, and her mother was a maid in my neighborhood. So I used to see her, and she was very talkative and very energetic and everything. So I started liking her. Whenever I was parking my car, she used to ask me questions. How does the car run? And she was a very brilliant child, and I wanted her to be in a school.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I got to know that her father was a drug addict or something. So
Okay.
he was not doing anything for her like education. What happened was that he had an uncle who was basically a rickshaw driver himself. He started sponsoring her education, and whenever I was going to my university, I started watching her going to school, and it made me very happy that I was actually wondering, what if she starts going to school, and then there was a time that came when I saw her that she was delivering corn from the kiosk to the shopkeepers or the customers of that kiosk. Then I asked her, "Beta, you were supposed to be in school or something, and you were actually going to school. What happened?" Then she told me that her uncle that was supporting her just died, and now she's back on streets.
Oh
So
gosh. Okay.
at that very moment, I decided, if a rickshaw driver can like support a kid on a monthly basis, so can I. Like a luxury meal of one time is equivalent to a child's education for a month.
Exactly, and that's great because this is also what we've been saying since we started the show, is that it's from I think it's in the Quran and it's in the Bible and all these. I don't know, but the saying is you feed a man, give him a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feeds for a lifetime. I love that quote. Okay, so now Maham, let's come back to you. You guys have grown from strength to strength. We will break down the other projects, but I've been told to ask you now about this. On the 14th of August, you guys had the inauguration of your Honahar Welfare School. So tell us about that. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to actually now branch out into a school.
Like basically we always wanted to have our own school, but we didn't have the luxuries, or we didn't have the sources to make the schools, because we just work on the funds, so we didn't have enough funds.
But you're the event manager, right?
Yeah, I'm the
Okay,
event
so
manager.
that it means that you raise the funds. You
Yeah.
manage the events that are raising funds. So what kind of events did you hold in order to raise the money?
We started off with a very little event. I made the cupcakes and I sell them in my university.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So the donations I earned from that, I just put it in for our organization. So as the sponsors and the people, when they started trusting us and knowing us more better, so they contacted us for these sponsorships and donations.
Okay.
So yeah, our biggest event last year was in Centaurus. Yeah, and they supported us really good. The venue was all sponsored, and the people they supported us very well.
Okay.
So the earnings we did from there, the day we decided that we're a step closer to our school, and this is how we should now like actually start deciding and the place and like start deciding
Okay.
for our school.
Okay, so I'll find out. We'll find out more about the location of the school. But okay, so Nahal,
No.
yeah. Sorry, okay, stress, man. Your name is stressing me out. Now, in regards to the different organizations and how did you? Because you're director of external
Affairs, yeah.
external affairs, communication. So how did you convince Centaurus to sponsor this and do these things and all these? I need to stop using these names and all these other organizations who are actually quite reluctant
Yeah.
to actually put money into places sometimes.
Actually, that's what I assumed as well before joining. But after joining, I was actually very, very surprised and very happy to see that we have a very good reception. Like a lot of people, when you tell them that, you know, we're a charity organization, we're university students, they actually are very receptive. They're very sweet, they're very understanding. Like we were planning, the stages of planning another event, but we had to push that aside for our school. And I contacted around about 12 different people, caterers, restaurants, and they were all so helpful.
Really?
They were it was so good for me to just, like even just talking on the phone with them, they were like, we will definitely sponsor you. We will either give you food or, you know, have a place for you for the children. I think people are very receptive. I think.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so Saad, tell me, people very receptive. How long did it take for this welfare school to be realized? Like, so from when did you guys decide to how long did it take you to raise the money?
So actually, Maha, I remember in 2013, we had a vision that we are going to open our school sooner or later.
Okay.
But the problem was we don't have had enough funds for our own school. So now in 2017, we found out a place in G12, that is the Mehrabadi sector, and basically that's a village. So we found out a building over there, and we started our own school over there. And 14th August was a lucky day when we did inauguration of our school. So that was all about, and inshallah by the end of this month we'll be running it in a proper manner.
Excellent. That's so great to hear, and congratulations. That's such a great thing to achieve. Now, currently, you guys have graduated.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Apart from you. You graduated?
In December.
Oh, in December. Okay, so you still got time. So now, because you said you guys started when you were you guys are students. Some are still students. Some are going to now go into other paths. Like, you know, they have to move on with their lives. How are you guys planning to make sure that the school that you've just started is going to be run to that level of quality that will actually enable children to have a proper life?
Well, the thing is, like, we started off by actually when we go to schools to enroll students, we come around different different problems that schools are doing with our children, and we feel like there should be a different school with some special qualities that we realized that should be there, like multimedia, teachers should be different and everything. And so then at that time I came to the point that why not I make my own school. So starting off with the school, there was a thing that if I'm teaching 5 students in one part of Islamabad, and there are 10 students on the other part of Rawalpindi, and there are then 10 students on some other part like Barako or something. When people used to ask me what Honehar basically is, it was very difficult for me to tell them, and it was very difficult for me to actually explain them what Honehar is. So there was a dire need of physical existence of Honehar.
Okay. But by having a physical existence of the organization, doesn't it make it difficult for people? We have pictures of your school as well running for all our viewers now as well, which is great. It looks great. But doesn't that make it more difficult for children to now, they'll have to travel to you guys rather than, you know, people who are living quite far, how do they reach you?
Actually, the thing is like the location of school is located very like strategically.
Okay.
If you look at the location, it is basically Mirabadi.
Okay.
Mirabadi is a sector that is out of like Islamabad, and that is not very established. There is that's basically called an urban slum.
Okay.
So the location of school is ideally located to get the people in the vicinity to come and get education. When we go to like Mirabadi, there are no proper roads over there. You cannot even reach that place in a normal car or something. So in that vicinity, there are children who we used to see are working like cleaning cars and this and that in all the other areas of Islamabad like G10, F11 and else. So we went there and we saw those children and we used to ask them, why don't you go to school? And they were like, there are no schools available in our area where they live. If we have to go like miles away to study, then there is no concept behind it. Even if their parents are earning something or to like give them education, they don't have a platform there. So we decided parents who can earn their living, like give shelter and food to their kids, we are going to enroll them. Like the kids are not just going to be, the parents are coming to us and to get like a bit hype, or like they are sending their children just to school to avoid them or something. We're going to see that their parents are motivated enough to send them to school and then to support us, because the education that students get in school is just the 20%. The rest of the support is coming from the home, right?
Right.
So the parents should be motivated enough to send it to.
Okay, excellent. And on that note, we're going to go for a short break. But when you come back, we're going to find out how Honehar is different to other organizations, and also how are they going to get the parents to be more involved in their child's education, especially with their economic and, you know, social and financial background. So let's stay tuned. Let's go for a short break, and when you come back, we'll continue the discussion. Stay tuned.
The Festival of Lamps, or Mela Chiraga, is a very important and popular event in Pakistan. This is celebrated every spring on the last Friday of March outside the Shalimar Gardens. The show has been described as an eloquent expression of Pakistan's heritage and an authentic account of its agricultural and industrial achievements. The Fortress Stadium, the venue of the show, is thronged by active participants, foreign visitors, and people who watch the festival with great enthusiasm, verve, and aplomb. A large number of them are interested in watching and appreciating the best breeds of livestock. Many derive pleasure by watching other activities, such as the display parade of animals, dances by horses and camels, polo matches, tent pegging, dog shows and their races, daring acts of stuntmen, mass display of military band, rhythmical physical exercise by children, tastefully decorated industrial floats and torchlight tattoo shows. Additional attractions include a subtle interplay of lights to weave enticing patterns at night and breathtaking acts by foreign groups. Fairs and festivals of Pakistan.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were in discussion with the team from Honehar, which is a charity non-profit organization which is helping the kids of today get a better future and trying to open up their horizons, which is fantastic. So now, before the break, we were talking about the inauguration of their school, which is the Honehar Welfare School, which has just been opened on the 14th of August. I just said that. So now, before the break, they were discussing about it. So I'm going to come to Nahal, and you're going to tell me about the training and the curriculum, correct? So tell me about that.
So
How are you maintaining that? To an international standard, right?
Yes, exactly. To the national standards.
National,
So
okay.
actually, we have a national standards for curriculum, and it's very, very well designed.
Okay.
But in a lot of schools, it's not very well implemented, which is a
Okay.
problem. So we decided after.
I like your distinction there. Very good.
Yeah. So after a lot of research and a lot of grueling process of going to reach other, literacy-based organizations and seeing how they implemented curriculums and what kind of curriculum they're, working with and whatever. What we did is after we had some references, and with those references we took Arenda's Talimabad project.
Okay.
Now that's a really, really fun thing for children,
Okay.
and it's really, really educational because it's according to the national standards. All
Okay.
of the things of the national standards are there, and along with that, it's basically a digital learning program. It's different. It's like cartoons that are there for kids, and with the cartoon, with the apex, with the climax of the thing, the children are ingrained with an educational concept,
Okay.
which then is reinforced through play activities and interactive fun activities.
Okay.
And after that, we have assessments just to test how much they've learned.
Okay,
So it's a
great.
really nice system. And
Because that's a curriculum. So how are we going to, so this is all great, and I don't want to sound like a pessimist, but I'm gonna. This is all well and good,
Yeah.
but how are you going to make sure that the way it's being implemented, the way it's being taught, it's up, there are people who are trained in order to do it, because, if someone doesn't have anything better to do, they become a teacher, and so the lack of commitment is that. It's true over
it's
here.
true, it's true.
That's why the level of respect, I think, in that profession has kind of decreased, in people's minds, because it's kind of like, people get married and they're not allowed to work, and then they stop becoming a teacher. So how are you going to stay away from that?
I see what you might have reservations believing that, but the system of Arenda is so great that they'll have the teacher training program. It's like 4 or 5 days of teacher training where they show the teachers how to use their multimedia equipment and how to use everything, all the curriculum, the books, the testing procedures.
Okay.
And along with that, what's really good is that they keep the family of the student involved, the organization, like we will be involved. Arenda basically has a database, right, of all the students' test scores. So if I'm a teacher in school, I can't slack off. technically, because I always have accountability. I always have a check. I have to upload my test scores. They have these cheap mobile phones will they give me, and I will, help to run the multimedia and show the children the cartoons. And along with that, the testing scores for the children, I have to upload them into the database.
Okay.
And so the parents at home will just get a text message about like what my children's scores are. We at Honahar will get text messages, and so will
So
everybody else.
who is going to watch over all of this? Who's going to make sure that the teachers are uploading it? Who's going to teach the parents that they're supposed to get something every few months
yeah.
or something? Tell me, Nahal.
Well, basically, we have a system of like our own volunteers are going to do that, and we're going to have a principal in the school. Maham can tell you more about
Okay, so tell us. So
Yeah.
this is the running of the school. So tell us how
So
it does.
we decided to hire a principal for the school. She will keep updating us for what's going on in the school. We do have like meetings in a month, or like 2 meetings in a month. We discuss everything what's going on. So I think we would be able to handle it more.
Okay.
So I just graduated, so I'll be looking myself for the school.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. Okay, now, so before I will ask you why you guys, okay, so that's the school. Who's going to keep an eye out, who's going to keep an eye on the principal to make sure she's doing her job?
Basically, we ourselves are going to keep an eye on the principal, and it's going to be
And sorry, I'm asking these questions because, this is after, like, well, how do we know? How do
Yeah,
we
of
know?
course.
So I want to get that all across.
Accountability and
So the, the kids' parents will be able to contact you guys if there's anything that's not being done. Yeah?
okay, obviously.
Yeah, okay. Just don't. Some people don't. Some people start the school and then they disappear and they're not
The
contactable.
the thing is, like, actually we have faced some issues in the previous schools, as
Okay.
our initiative was to get the students in other schools, and we were facing problems like these, like a child just disappeared. Like, I was sponsoring a child. He was there in the school for 2 years, and after 2 years the child just disappeared. His parents or her parents just moved away from that vicinity, and they had no contact details or something like that. So the thing is, like, these were the basic issues why I wanted my own school, that
Okay.
I am going to keep a proper check, and this is just not going to be an education. The word honehar that we have selected, there is a concept behind it. Honehar is
You
a
should have
word.
told me that from the beginning when I asked you what Honahar was. No,
So,
okay.
so coming to the point that
Yeah.
the word honehar, it's originated from a word honor, that means trade.
Okay.
And like the word honehar itself means talented. So
Okay.
we are not just giving them education, we have to like sustain them. We have to get them to a point where they can earn their living for the future.
Okay. So now, going forward, okay, so that's wonderful. Now, how are you guys different to other organizations?
There is one very particular point about raising funds and involving our audience. Like, our basic donors are mostly students. Like, the amount of donation that we have selected is very less, and we try to involve them on monthly basis. Like, we don't ask for huge donations once, but we try to involve them on monthly basis. Like, 1500 rupees is our monthly uh, per child like price that you can pay, and there is going to be a child sponsored on your money.
Okay.
So even if there is a student who cannot pay 1500 per month, his pocket money is allowing him 500 per month, so he can gather 3 friends.
Yeah.
And this way we can even like bring our upcoming youth to a good like, instead they are involved in some other activities, why they don't like collect funds and they invest their things in like an organization or education of another child.
Excellent.
So
And
this is something that we have thought from the very start. And then we have like our events that raise our capital for like our major contributions.
okay. So
Then-
we know you've done the cake sale.
Yes.
What other events have you guys done? Yeah. So Saad, tell me.
Yeah, thank you, Baha. We have done multiple events. Like initially, our first mega event was in Centaurus.
Yeah.
Then afterwards, we have done our annual dinner at Ranchers, and we have had our mega meeting of all the sponsors with their kids. So we had and recently we had our inauguration in our school. So we have multiple events going on. And coming to your question, how our NGO is different from other organizations. Firstly, the transparency that we have in our organization between the sponsor and the kid is very clear.
Okay.
Once the sponsor approaches us,
Yeah.
we connect that sponsor with the kid, and all the grade reports and all the stuff, the sponsor gets to know that.
Okay.
And wherever the sponsor's money is going to invest, he or she is informed by every month. Our team events, our team management makes sure that all the reports do approach that sponsor.
Okay, excellent. That's great. Now, in regards to the reports reaching the sponsor, is it paperless or do you guys send paper out? How do you guys do it? Saad, tell me.
Uh, we have our social media platform.
Okay.
We have our proper profile of the kid. So we email them the profile of the kid as well as we email them the grade report as well. And if they say to send us by courier, so we make sure whatever is convenient for them, we make sure that it depends on the convenience of the sponsor.
Wonderful. And now going forward, what do you guys hope to achieve? What are you've opened a school, so what's next? Another school, then a university? Like what's going on?
So Maha, you know what? Actually, in 2013, the area which we targeted was poor kids. Basically, this is the aim of our organization. We aim to provide education to all the ones who cannot afford their expenses. So what happens in these areas, specifically in Mehrabadi, is what their parents want to do is that they want their child should grow and he or she should start earning.
Yeah.
They feel like spending money on their education is a waste of time.
Okay.
So what we are planning is in our future aspect that now Alhamdulillah we have opened up our own school. So we'll try and we'll make sure whosoever seeks knowledge or comes to our school will try in a couple of years to invest so much on them that he or she should be able to earn and give money back to his or her home,
Support their family.
support their families. So two main factors in running our school is the technology
Yeah.
and the teachers. We are not going to compromise on these two things because the channel through which you impart education on the children is through teachers and technology. So as Nehal, our team member, has told you regarding Orenda, school curriculum is on the national level and it's of very high standard, and we are hoping to achieve it.
Excellent. And I'll get a few words from everyone else as well because now you've graduated, Maham. So what would you like to see happen with this organization? Will you stay a part of it?
Yeah, I would love to stay. I feel myself one of the luckiest one to be in this organization
Okay.
because I really wanted to play my role and contribute for like underprivileged children. So I think now this is the right time
Okay.
to contribute my part towards the school.
Okay, actually, I just realized I wanted to ask you another social aspect question before we wrap up. It's really wonderful. Okay, now I'm going to sound really mean, and I don't mean it, but you know, it's my job to be critically analyze things. So it's great that you guys are doing this. But I was reading this article, and I was reading different statuses that you know when you're doing an act of kindness or charity, you know, there's this trend. We have a social media platform which everyone's obsessed with, you know, Instagram and Facebook. You know, showing the person's face of who you are giving charity to, you know, highlighting and promoting the fact that one has done something charitable. What do you feel about that? Do you think that's fair to the child to actually, you know, if you're doing an act of charity, helping someone out, do you think that one should plaster their face with them, with the artwork that they're doing, or do you think it's important to highlight it? I'll start with you, Nahal. Oh, okay, Saad. Saad's got an answer. Go on.
So the thing is that child is going to serve its country,
Okay.
and the reality is he or she cannot afford his or her education. So we are promoting the real cause.
Okay.
We are contributing towards the fact that we are going to afford all their expenses.
Okay.
So he or she is going to serve the nation, and I think this is the good thing.
Okay, that's true. And also, I guess, because on your Facebook page, I didn't see lots of people promote. You know, it didn't seem like a. What do you think about this?
Actually, the thing is, like, even if you're posting a picture of a child, it's not necessary that he will get to a negative point. Sometimes when children get to know that they are posted on some media or something just because they're getting educated, the things get turned around. Like the kid gets motivated. Like if I'm going to
Okay.
secure first position or I'm going to have high grades, I will be published on some media or something. I will be taken out for a dinner or something, because first we are going to arrange an event for to like we will arrange some dinner or something to like we will tell all other kids to motivate them that this particular child had his first position and we are giving him gifts and this
Incentives. You're giving them
incentives.
So
We are
incentives.
giving them
basically,
incentives.
like, we don't want to embarrass them on the social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
We just want to motivate them
That's what
and
I'm asking,
encourage
yeah.
them, give them experience, awareness about this world.
Okay,
And
excellent. Okay, now, sorry, no, we've actually run out of time, so I need last words from Mohammed. So tell me, what would you like to say to everyone, and give us your Facebook page so that people can log on and donate.
The last words are that every contribution, or whether it's financially or whether it's like you're personally involving yourself in towards a country's success, matters. So basically I will start off with students. What I think is like they waste like 2 to 3 hours per day in their, whether it's in school or whether it's at their home or something like that. So they should get up with some idea as we did, or come to us, join our team and contribute towards the betterment of our country. Like giving 2 to 3 hours per day can contribute a lot. Like we started off 1 or 2 children, but now Alhamdulillah, we have like our own school and
You've helped over 50 families.
over 50 families, and it's not like we're going to leave them. Every child that we have selected, we have linked him with or her with a sponsor who is not just taking care of their education. We link them on Eids, like their sponsors send them Eid gifts on every occasion. Like if a child's parents are not like are not feeling well, we even tell their sponsors about it. So it's a roundabout thing. It's
Okay. It's
every
like a welfare system.
welfare system.
Yeah, that's
So the thing
great.
is, like, if someone wants to reach to us, we have a fully functional Facebook page.
Yep.
That's facebook.com/honehar, HUNEHAR.
Yep.
So you can come to us to join our team. You can get the feedbacks. You can sponsor our child. Everything is available over there.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on the show.
Thank you very much.
for
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And best of luck with your school. I really
you so
hope it
much.
goes well. And whatever we can do to provide any help, we will do. So, guys, we will share all the information on our page as well so that you guys can easily access them. So, I hope you took something from it. You know, giving something back to any country that you're living in is something good. It's part of, you know, every religion. It's, you know, charitable work. But it's also, even if you feel like you need to publicize your charity work, that's fine as long as you're doing it. I think is the message at the end of the day. So with that, do log on to our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of World This Morning, our Twitter page, World This Morning without a G, our Daily Motion and YouTube page, World This Morning, and the repeaters at 11:05 p.m. this evening. Have a wonderful day, be good, be safe, and I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.